Hey, what's going on, guys? It's your old pal CHH here today. We're reviewing the new film Christmas, Bloody Christmas. So, this is the new Joe Begos film, and if you're a fan of Joe Begos, then you probably should already know that this film is coming. But Joe Begos has done some really cool stuff. I think my favorite movie he's done is Bliss, possibly VFW, but probably Bliss. Check those movies out if you haven't seen it. I actually found out something really cool about Christmas, Bloody Christmas. He was on the Charles Band Full Moon Freak Show podcast, best podcast in the world, by the way. And it was interesting to learn that Joe Begos films his movies now in complete 16mm film. He bought the cameras himself, which is amazing. Films his stuff in 16mm. He blew up real stuff in this movie. $2.5 million budget, which is amazing. So another cool thing about Christmas, Bloody Christmas is this. He was actually approached by the Silent Night, Deadly Night people to make a remake of the film, and when he came up with the plot line of having a robotic killer Santa be the villain, they were like, that's not Silent Night, Deadly Night. So then he took that original idea and got the offer, hooked up with RLJE, I believe, and here is Christmas, Bloody Christmas. Plot of this film is very, very thin. This is a very superficial, thinly plotted Christmas horror film. So that's going to be a good thing for some people, and it's not going to be such a good thing for other people, and I totally understand that. So I actually anticipate Christmas, Bloody Christmas having a pretty split difference in terms of people that like it and don't like it. There's a girl and a guy that we get introduced to that are our main characters, and the girl is our main character. And if you're a fan of the Rob Zombie-esque, foul language, brash, opinionated kind of stuff, you'll like this. And if you don't, you still might like this because it's not Halloween and you're not dealing with having the legacy of that type of movie in here. But the characters in this film are very opinionated, drunkards, they smoke weed, they listen to vinyl records, VHS tapes. It's very horror fan aesthetic in this, which is great. Some might see it as a little too heavy-handed though, so me personally, I ate it up. I thought it was junk food, and I loved the characters. They were very opinionated, obnoxious, and I just ate it up. I saw it as almost a little bit of satire. So there were these military robots that became defunct, and they got turned into Santas. And you see this little commercial in the beginning of the movie for that. And there's this one Santa in the store that some of our characters are at, and this Santa, who is basically an ex-military robot, decides, okay, time to go in defense mode and start killing everybody and everything. Did I enjoy this movie? I did. I would give it a nice solid 3.5 out of 5 stars. I really appreciated, quite frankly, a lot of the heavy-handedness. There's horror movie posters everywhere. The characters talk about Nightmare on Elm Street. They talk about Pet Sematary 2. There's a lot of horror talk, a lot of specific, almost Tarantino type stuff in here that I thought was fun. It's very, very colorful. The only problem with that, though, I felt like there wasn't a lot of depth in the imagery with the way this film looked. Everything just seemed to be open-faced, focused a lot throughout this movie, which is weird. It's a beautiful 16mm on screen that you're seeing, but I felt like a lot of the film just seemed to be open focus. Like the whole thing seemed to be in focus a little bit. Maybe this film gets a Blu-ray release or even possibly a 4K, because I know VFW did. We can get a better idea of the image because it was streaming and you never quite know how good the image is that you're getting on there. But this movie was bloody. He blew stuff up on screen. The characters get killed. Heads get smashed in. It's a killer Santa Joe Begos film. So, like I said, there's not much to spoil or get into because there's not much plot at all. It's a little bit nonsensical. You don't know why this killer Santa is doing what he's doing. We just know he was it's a robot, and it's raising hell. Jeff Daniel Phillips is in this too, which I loved seeing, speaking of Rob Zombie. And he gives a little bit of levity to the film as one of the adults in the film. He's a police officer. So yeah, I'm gonna give Christmas, Bloody Christmas a solid 3.5 stars out of 5. I enjoyed it a lot, but it's very, very superficial. So I do anticipate this film being pretty split down the middle. There will be people who love it for the junk food that it is, and I think there'll be other people that are like, we can have the junk food, but give me a little bit more here, or let's tone down some of these characters. Let's slow this down. Let's abbreviate a little bit of this or a little bit of that, and maybe let's get a little bit more into what's going on with this Santa Claus. So that's something you as the audience member have to decide for yourself. But me personally, I'm fine with what it was. It was fun. It was a fun zinger, Hostess Cupcake junk food movie, and I needed that right now. So Christmas Bloody Christmas is now on Shudder. Go check it out and let me know what you think about it. I want to say thanks to all my amazing Patreon supporters who make Planet CHH possible. For behind-the-scenes photos, videos, music, private live streams, and more, you can subscribe for as little as $1 a month.